Yes boys, it's Luca and welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be going through the ultimate OnlyFans chatting strategy in 2025. And OnlyFans chatting has changed a lot in the past 3 years, 4 years. I mean, even 5 years ago, pre-2020 and the earlier days of OFM and of OnlyFans, people didn't even understand that you could sell a script or even talk and sell to your subscribers. The majority of accounts that were ran and agencies that were running literally relied off subscription messages and tips, and no one realized you could even sell PPV messages. But that's changed a lot now. There's been a lot of script, bunch of different things introduced and actually used on these accounts. And I'm going to go through the exact strategies. And just before that, if I go to the next slide. So before I go through that, I'll show you an example of a ratio, which a lot of guys love to obsess over, specifically in OFM. And in my opinion, ratio is very, very variable and very dependent on a lot of factors, the creator, the traffic source and whatnot. But I'll go through today's the 18th of February. And you can see we have $2,000 in subscriptions and $38,000 in tips and messages. So you can see that's over 95% of the revenue so far in February is actually generated on this specific creator on the tips and the messages. So that's why it's so important that you actually chat and you chat properly and understand what the strategy is and how to build the team and system for chatting. So first of all, what is chatting? Chatting is talking directly to your model's fans, building a connection, and then offer them content for a specific price. Chatting is important because it turns casual subscribers into loyal fans who keep coming back and paying for content and helping you earn more cash. Little spelling mistake there. So your job in terms of chatting is to build as many relationships as possible. As a byproduct of those relationships, be able to upsell as much content as possible, and then your result at the end of that is make as much money as possible and extract as much cash as possible. So limitations of subscription-only models. So relying only on subscriptions basically limits you from making big money. For that example there, if I was only relying on subscription money and I didn't chat on that account, it would be a 2K in half a month basically. So it would be a 4K a month model versus a 40K in 2 and a bit weeks model. So it's extremely important that you take advantage of chatting and use it to the highest degree. Untapped potential. Again, instead of viewing subscribers as fixedly income, you can scale relationships, scale well, scale spenders to spend as much as possible on your model's accounts. Real source. So first of all, there's pay-per-view messages, custom content and script. So pay-per-view messages is sending anything with an unlock, with a specific price, with a specific caption, so that once the fan unlocks it, you get that money essentially. Custom content is offering customs, offering a specific video that the subscriber might want to see and charging a high price for it. And then scripts, which is what we're mainly going to go through in this video, is upselling content in order and making it look like you are live talking to the fan directly as the creator. So why are mass PPVs a waste? So every OnlyFans model or even older agencies and agencies that are running, for example, like a big creator, there is so much money on the table because a lot of these guys are used to mass PPVs. And mass PPVs are basically sending a PPV, pay-per-view message to your whole audience with a caption that you can tell it's the whole audience, and it's just generic. And at the end of the day, these guys are subscribing to your specific model, to your account, because they want to talk to you and they want to build that dynamic to you. So you sending a mass PPV, burning that relationship, effectively makes them realize, oh, she just wants me for my money, I don't have a personal connection with her, and this isn't actually real. And your job as a chatter or training your chat team is to make that dynamic and that relationship as real as possible. The more real that you make it, the more that they believe it's real, the more chance they think they have with the model, and the more you can use that to your advantage to upsell and get as much possible for each script, for each custom, for each pay-per-view. So you don't want to use mass PPVs, especially on your spenders, especially on your whales, especially on your buyers who like to buy content. You only want to use it to extract from your middle, no spenders to brokies and the guys that are rarely unlocking content, and you want to make sure that you list that correctly. So the right way to do it is obviously individual messaging. So The minute a subscriber comes to the account, you want to start casual. So you want to begin low pressure, get to know their name, their age, their job, their relationship status, what they enjoy, why they even sub to the page. You want to make the conversation flow naturally and build a connection with that subscriber. The more real you approach this, the more you stop asking generic questions, the more they are genuinely going to believe, oh my God, I'm actually talking to the model. And the more you give this impression and the more real you make it, the more money you make. So you want to focus very, very deeply on this as soon as they come into the account. So the next thing is, once you build that connection, you want to introduce upselling and PPV content. So what we have on all of our accounts is an intro script, which is already listed out, all the relationship building at the start that flows into casually changing and directing the conversation to sexual, where you start sexting. And in terms of the actual script, you'll be upselling from the first PPV anywhere from $5 to $15, and then upselling from there. So scaling with scripts. This is an example from about 2 and a bit years ago, where literally on one of the subscribers in one of the accounts went crazy in terms of the amount of tips they sent. But back to scripts. So casually opening, like breaking the ice, standard, just back and forth conversation. Then the key thing is one of those messages you want to flip and famuse the conversation to sexual. So with one of those messages, you want to divert the conversation to sexual. For example, you could be talking about watching a movie, and then you could divert it to watching the movie with a subscriber. You could be talking about eating lunch, and you could divert it, oh, let me cook lunch for you, for example. So you want to find that thing that will divert the conversation to relationship, man to woman, and more sexual. First thing is teasing free content. So you want the subscriber to make sure that he knows that you're there live. So whether you're in the kitchen, whether your model is cooking, whether it's like the start of the day, whether she's walking home, you want to make it a natural progression and the subscriber to genuinely believe that he's talking to the model and the model is live. So before you go into selling anything, he needs to believe you are live. So you want to incorporate that within your script. Then for your first PPV video, it might just be a simple video where it's more teasing based and you sell it for $10. To get that first sale, you want to build that up to make him know for sure that you've just taken that video live and that's in congruency with the videos and the conversation prior. And from that first video, that's when you want to keep upselling. So as you get more explicit with the content, you upsell for more, from $10 to $12 to $25 to $30, from $25 to $30 to $40 to $50, from $40 to $50 to $80 to $100, $80 to $100 to $150 to $200. And to your final PPV videos, so it depends on what the model is specifically comfortable with, your final videos of that script and of that sequence, you want to be pushing at least $100 to $200 per video. Subscriber motivation. So emotional connection. They all want emotional connection, and they're all craving something. There's a reason why they're on OnlyFans in the first place, and you need to figure out what is that why, what is that pain. Same with personal attention. They want to feel attended to, and then a positive experience. You want a whole combination where they attach everything to your model, your creator. They attach their enjoyment, they attach their sexual enjoyment, emotional enjoyment, physical enjoyment, everything combined. You want to provide that experience, and that's how you're going to develop a whale over time. So some tips. Use tools or VAs to handle the messaging, and sending pre-written scripts allows you to scale efficiently. So with chatting specifically, if you're a manager or an agency, which if you are watching this video, you probably are. Also as well, to add on that, if you are an agency interested and serious to scale your actual OnlyFans agency, you can join my free school, which is in the link in the description below. That covers a lot of my systems, my strategies, and more in-depth review of my actual scripts and what I do in specific in terms of chatting. But back to the topic, in terms of if you are a manager watching this video, just because you know how to chat doesn't mean a Filipino, a VA, wherever you might hire your VAs from or your chatters from, doesn't mean they're going to know the exact amount of the exact amount of information, the best way to chat like you specifically do yourself. The problem is that you're expecting your employees, your chatters, your managers, etc. to just get it done and do it the exact way that you think in your head, how you know to manipulate a whale, how you know to upsell, etc., etc., etc. And if you're always in this mindset where the minute you scale, the minute traffic scales, your ratio goes down, your results go down because you can't handle the traffic or you don't have systems in place, the main thing you need to tackle is how can I systemize this and how can I make this a process where step by step, every part is handled. And that goes in as well with using pre-made scripts. I know a lot of guys who literally let their chatters free reign on the accounts, free type everything, free type their scripts, free type their PPV captions. And on a low traffic account, yes, that's completely fine. You can get away with free typing. But if you want a chatter to get 30, 50, even 100K a month in personal individual sales, you need to make use of auto scripts and auto messaging on inflow, for example. What these messages and auto scripts do is that for each PPV video, you have the caption already laid out for the video, you have the description of the video so the chatter doesn't have to waste time watching the PPV or writing the caption. And I remember back in the day, like 2 years ago now, before CRM, before everything, literally each chatter would have to make sure he knows exactly what the video is, write notes on the video, make sure that he keeps that saved somewhere on his notes or whatever, because there wasn't inflow pre-made scripts. We used to use Excel sheets and just copy and paste from Excel sheets. Now you have these automation, these softwares, it should make your job so much easier. So all of your scripts, all of your ideas need to be put in an auto script, and then you need to emphasize and train your chatters actually implementing these scripts. And to implement a script, one, the chatter needs to know, why does this work? So you need to show them why it works and what is the goal. Two, you need to demonstrate it working. So you need to get on a call, a Discord call, a Zoom call, a Google Meet, whatever, and go through the script live with a subscriber to show them that it works. And then three, you need to watch them and shadow them doing the same, seeing how they use it, making use of Hubstaff or Discord again, seeing how they implement it. If they make anything wrong, adjust that and fix that now in the moment. Because with learning, I was watching a podcast, and the guy on the podcast basically broke down that with so dogs learning that if they put their paw up, they get a treat. If you give them the treat in the first, immediately after they put their paw up, it takes about 10 tries for them to figure out the minute they put their paw up, they get a treat. If you give it 10 seconds after, it will take about 90 tries for them to put their paw up themselves, and then you give them a treat. If you've done it 1 minute after they put their paw up and you gave them a treat 1 minute after, there'll be an infinite amount of tries before they figured out it's the paw and then they get the treat. So if you relay that now to training and implementing something new, a chatter going through a script and then you reviewing it at the end of the day's already gone. The chance that they say, okay, so I'm going to do this better this day, and they actually do it, is basically zero. But you think you've done the work, you think you've done what it takes to train the person, and etc., 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 but you don't see that improvement and you don't see that implementation. And that's mainly towards your system of training. So you want to be thorough and strict with your training, and before they demonstrate it once, they demonstrate it twice, and then you know for sure they can do this consistently, because if they can't demonstrate it in front of you, how are they going to do it themselves? So you really want to emphasize this, and if you want to get the most out of your teams and doing this at scale with multiple teams and multiple accounts, you need to be strict with your training. The other thing is reusing scripts. So obviously we have a preset of scripts that each model follows, and everything is pretty simple and systemized now, and you just want to be able to reuse scripts. And obviously when you have whales, you have to consistently get new scripts from the creator and get new content so that you are able to upsell. By far, the main thing when it comes to chatting is actually systemizing this for your team and for your chatters, for your chat managers. Because the minute you systemize this, you get away from subjectivity, random whale rinses, random results in chatting, and actually streamline the process and systemize the process. That's when you get consistent whales coming in your account, upselling consistent whales, and actually making the LTV per subscriber as high as you can. Because your goal as an agency is to extract as much LTV per customer. And how you can do that, there is many ways. Script selling is 1/10 of the way there. There's so many other things that you can do to actually extract as much possible. And your focus should be, how can I do it? What is everything I can do to do it? And systemizing that process, and then going through with that, running that with your team, systemizing their process, to the chatters, from the chat managers to the chatters, implementing it and then scaling your team. So that's the end of today's video. And just before we end, I would like to finish with, if you are interested in actually adding these systems into your agency, whether you're a beginner or whether you are already an agency that is making money and wants to scale to 6 figures a month, then you can book in a one-to-one roadmap call with me, where I'll be going through the exact systems I have for chatting and marketing, recruitment, everything, going through my systems, going through my strategies, and giving you a more tailored roadmap and plan so that you can get out your current situation and scale to that goal, to that 100K a month goal or 10K a month if you're a beginner with your OnlyFans agency. Because it is literally a case of applying the proven system that I run in my agency into yours and getting the results. So I hope you boys enjoyed that video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.